Former State Senator Ernest Newton went to prison for corruption, but now wants his old job back. And the Democrat from Bridgeport is here with us now. And Senator Newton, good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I want to ask you, first of all, why do you want your old job back?
Well, you know, when I got out, I started working, and I realized that the community hadn't progressed since I went away. And there are a lot of issues facing our city that need to be addressed. A lot of things happening in the state of Connecticut, racial profiling that we fought in 2009, the late Senator Penn and myself, problems with minority judges. So there's no urban agenda, no one talking about an urban agenda in some of our larger cities. And the only way to stop crime is with a job.
You pleaded guilty to some very serious crimes. Bribery, paying your own personal bills with campaign money, evading taxes. Do you think you deserve a chance to serve back in the legislature again?
Well, I believe this, that I made a mistake. But my mistakes ought not outweigh the good that I've done. You know, we live in a world that's two sides to everything. But we look at the side of people that make mistakes. I made a mistake, I paid my debt to society, but it shouldn't equate or wipe out all the things I've done that were right.
So for a while you didn't admit that you did these things. Now you admit that you did commit these crimes.
When I pled guilty, that means I did it. So when you plead guilty, that means you made a mistake. I did it.
How did prison change you?
Well, I lived in the hood all my life. That's like living in prison. Okay? Because you walk outside, you hear gunshots, you hear all kind of things happening. I think what prison showed me, though, that we have some great minds that one day will get out of prison. And that we ought to be talking about how do we find jobs and create opportunities. And I think one of the things that I'm definitely going to fight for is that when a person pays his or debt to society, they ought to be a free person. If we take a person's rights, his right to vote, or his right to have a felony on his record, when that person's paid his debt to society and he paid all his time in prison, probation, we ought not leave that stigma on them for the rest of their life.
Have you talked to any other Democrats about this quest to return to your seat?
I've talked to the people in the district, because that's more important.
What about Senate President Don Williams?
I've spoken to Don Williams. I haven't spoken to Marty Looney.
Has he given you any encouragement, Senator Williams?
He put it like this, that he has an incumbent, but he didn't say not to do it. But I don't need their blessings to run for public office.
What about Party Chairwoman Nancy DiNardo?
I haven't talked to Nancy. I've spoken to our party chairman, who quoted that if Ernie Newton runs for a seat again, he'll win. Mario Testo.
So no one's tried to talk you out of this at all?
No, no, no. I listen to the voters. The voters are who I listen to, because those are the ones that vote. Party leaders don't vote in Bridgeport.
Years ago, you admitted you had a problem with cocaine and crack.
17 years ago, and we still talking about it.
And you've never had any problem since?
No. I work for a detox facility, so I get to see people coming in. And you see, this is, we don't talk about a list of things that I've done. We want to talk about stuff that happened 17 years ago.
What was your biggest accomplishment in the legislature?
I think one of the biggest things was to see the first Afro-American female become a judge, Cotista Cofield. Up until that point, we had no black judges.
And what's your biggest goal if you are returned to the state legislature?
To try to help move Bridgeport forward. We've got prime land that's just sitting there, create jobs, to create an urban agenda for the city of Bridgeport. Listen, we need more voc ed schools. Everybody that goes to high school might not want to go to college, but if they had a trade, they could be self-sufficient. So we really need to do more in the voc ed kind of things in our city.
As you talk about Bridgeport, what's the #1 thing that you're going to tell these people why they should put you back in office?
I think the #1 thing is jobs. People want to feel safe. They want to be able to walk out of their homes. The way to cut down on crime is real simple. Create a job for a person. Then he won't have to break into your house or my house or hurt my mother or hurt your mother. We need jobs in urban areas.
Former State Senator Ernest Newton, hoping to get his job back in the fall. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming on.